Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Trent from CourseCareers. Today, we're going to talk about Samira's story breaking into tech sales. Youngest person at her company, just hit quota today. First big girl job, to your point. Samira, let's talk about each step of the way, how you made it happen, and you're still an SDR a year later. Why did you decide to break into tech sales?
Well, honestly, Trent, I would like to say thank you for having me. It's an honor. I would say the reason that I broke into tech sales was, I just wanted to do something different. I was sick of seeing the normal toxic work environments, and that's where I was coming from. So I just knew that there's a future here. I saw that sales was helping people. I saw that, you have a little bit more work-life balance. And as well as just, kind of being a staple in your company was something I really wanted. I wanted to be a part of a big picture and not just feeling like I'm just, you know, working day to day with no end goal. So I saw tech sales was that, and it aligned with my personality. So I looked at Course Careers and here I am today.
What were you doing before tech sales?
Yeah, so I did a few things. I had like a little, roles in college, but what I did closest to Course Careers was I was working in aviation, so I was a customer success person. I just basically I was a concierge technically, but I did a handful of different things. I did marketing on the phone, I did sales on the phone, but mainly my job was to help people with their bookings.
Was there a moment when someone came to you and said, Samira, my travel home has been canceled. My day is ruined. I'm pissed off. It's all your fault. I mean, I'm sure that really built the communication and the empathy and the listening muscle dealing with that. I mean, was there a moment when you said, no more of this? I got to find a new thing.
Yes, I experience that quite often, actually. I would say that my job was packed with that, packed with a lot of people who weren't happy. And I was that person that had to hear them out and fix it. But I knew that I wanted to pivot into something different, because I wanted to be a part of company goals. And I just knew that I could see a future in going to tech sales. I think a moment where I was just like, yeah, I can't do this was just feeling unappreciated in an environment, feeling like I I just didn't feel like I was appreciated in my role. So I just knew that the next role I would have to feel like I'm, working towards a goal with a team and not just like by myself coming in to get yelled at on the phone. So I'd rather get yelled at and appreciated. So
Yeah, and make a little bit more money as well. How'd you break into tech sales? How'd you go from aviation, CS, customer success to tech sales SDR?
I actually found tech course careers through my dad. He heard about it. He is huge on YouTube and looking at the next big thing for me. He came across course careers and he was telling me for a few months while I was at that job. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. And then, life goes on. My job was just taking up so much of my time to where I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to end this if I want to get things rolling for my next big thing. So I quit my job. I took the time that I had to really focus on course careers. I signed up immediately. And I had nothing else to fall on. So I'm like, this has to work out. So I put all of that into course careers and immediately I found my role. Um, and I'm just super thankful that I made that choice.
Can you talk about that mindset or that feeling of urgency where you decided to, it sounds like, burn the ships and you're all in on this main plan. It's path A, no backup. Can you just talk about that mindset and how you got to that place and how maybe it was beneficial to you?
Yeah, 100%. I would say that place really, really did a lot of good things for me. It forced me to be uncomfortable. And I would, I love being uncomfortable now. So in that moment, I was getting used to it, to being uncomfortable. And I just knew that I have to do something better. Like I have to, kind of figure out my life. And I couldn't do the rat race to where it was like, you know what, I'm unhappy, go to a job, go like I just knew that I had to hustle. So it's like a certain level of hustle that you need to have and faith in yourself. I didn't have any other option. I just graduated college. I just started living on my own. And I knew that I really want to be successful. That was it. Just a really like really personal urge to just like make sure that what I'm doing matters. Um and I think that's all it takes.
And once you got into Course Careers, it sounds like you didn't have a whole lot of knowledge, maybe on what tech sales was or what you'd be doing, or maybe you tried to get in and then you realized, hey, I need some help here. What did you learn in Course Careers, and talk about your experience?
Yeah. So one thing I will tell anyone is Course Careers taught me to be the SDR before I become the SDR. I actually got my first job by prospecting, and I always tell people who ask me, what is Course Careers? I always say to them, it's a very intensive self-paced course to where you learn the fundamentals about what it takes to be a SDR, but not only a SDR, but a successful SDR. You learn the proper skills that it takes to maintain accounts, how to speak to, C-suites or executives, and also how to use the software. That's the most important thing. There's people who probably don't have any Salesforce or any HubSpot or kind of like the day-to-day solutions that we use just to prospect. So I learned all of that in Course Careers, and not only that, but it taught me that the hustle doesn't stop. I learned immediately that this job could be fun. I learned that. So I would say, most of all, you have to be the SDR to become the SDR. Prospect, email, concise emails, cold call structure and format are it's super crucial to have to be successful. So those are the fundamentals that I learned in Course Careers, and it's the reason why I am where I am today.
You talked about prospecting to get the job. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I actually prospected over 500 people, like 500 recruiters and CEOs and on LinkedIn message. I did it all. And it was because I kind of wanted that first point of contact. I wanted to um see what I can do with it. If Course Careers is telling me that I can do it, why can't I? So I was like, you know what? Let's see this machine work. Let's see what we can do. So I started prospecting. I looked on LinkedIn. I looked on Indeed. I looked on so many different platforms where I knew employers were looking. But most of all, I learned how to use LinkedIn to leverage what you needed to do. So now I'm thankful that I have LinkedIn as a muscle. And I just prospected companies and people that I thought would fit with where I wanted to go. And I am now thankful that I reached out to my old manager, who is now the reason that I'm at the company that I'm at now.
What role did your old manager play?
She was actually the SDR manager at the time, and then she got in contact with the recruiter. She told me to submit an application there. So that's how got the ball rolling.
Was she on the list of 500 people you prospected?
Um, No. So I kind of went rapid. I definitely started to do my own thing. I was looking at accounts, and then some came like, I would write them down every day. Like, okay, who am I gonna prospect today? And Cube was definitely one of the companies that I came across. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a shot. But I didn't plan on it, so it all worked out.
It's so interesting because you made up your mind to be the SDR before you got the job. You took responsibility. You did all this prospecting on LinkedIn and whatever else you did. But none of that led to the results you wanted. But it you learned a lot in the process. You gained experience and confidence. But it was ultimately a past personal connection, a sort of maybe a first or second degree connection that was ultimately what got you the job.
Yes, 100%.
It's so interesting because you can do all this work thinking you're making progress, but then it's just one thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I know this person. They can unlock the door, and all of a sudden you just slide right in when
Mhm.
previously it seemed like nothing was happening. How long did it take you to complete course careers?
So, like I said, Trent, I was so like focused on the end goal and making sure that I, was moving towards something um productive. So I signed up for Course Careers and I immediately just like studied you. I studied you. I studied everything. I studied like tech sales, and it took me a month to complete the whole course, especially since I had a lot of time, um, knowing that I quit my job. So this is all I had. So I just went down into the pits of Course Careers, and it took me a month to complete.
And when you were completing the course, did you leverage the community, coaching, or any additional resources beyond just the self-paced learning course?
Yeah, so I actually coached. I actually had a coach, excuse me, um, and she told me to use this as my crutch. Because I'm like, I was so nervous. I was like, I don't have any experience. What do I do? And she told me, like, we have everything you need. If there's any help that you need, I'm always going to be here to help you out. And that alone, even though if I didn't reach out all the time because I wanted to figure it out on my own, no matter what the question or concern was, um, that feeling of having a community or having someone there to help you out whenever you need it did a whole lot of good for me. It made me feel like, okay, no matter what is the risk if I take this, if I reach out to this person, I know that this person said they're gonna have my back. So having that coach there and having a whole community of coaches it's such a very reassuring feeling.
And then how many interviews did it take for you to ultimately get the job?
That's actually my favorite thing to bring up. I had probably like 50 to 80. Like, now I swear, Trent, I had like a whole, like, my calendar was filled. I had like 2 or 3 interviews per day every week. Um and man, now that I'm, more equipped with my role, I know I bombed some of them because that's a part of the journey. I know I did, but
Oh my
I'm happy.
gosh.
Yeah, I'm happy that I did it because it was all worth it. The learning, the negotiating, everything.
Oh my gosh. I mean, 50 interviews, that's got to be with at least 20, 30 companies. So you must have
Yep.
had some rough goes.
Yeah, I definitely did. I actually had someone tell me that they didn't think I was a good fit because I was too creative, and I think that's funny now because you can't believe people like all the time. Whenever someone tells you, "Oh, you can't do it," believe in yourself because that's all that matters.
Hmm. And then what do you think it was the personal connection vouching for you that helped you get through the interview process to get the offer of your current company, or do you think you learned some lessons from all those interviews and then you finally figured it out? What do you think happened, or what were some lessons from all these interviews?
Well, number one, I hope it was a personal connection that had my back. But I did learn. I learned tons. I learned, and one thing that I learned to do is to not move with emotions. Someone tells you you're not a good fit or you don't get that offer. Don't don't take it personal. Um Ask them, maybe was it something that I said? Was it something that I didn't say? In the middle of the interview, and 9 times out of 10 they'll tell you. Like,
Yeah.
so I just like took it upon myself. I'm like, you know what? There's going to be so many interviews after this one. I'm going to leverage this interview. And while the person is here with me, I'm going to ask them, hey, what could I have said that would have made me get that offer? And they'll tell me. And I know to keep doing what they tell me to do, learn about the market, reach out to recruiters, learn what's important to them as well. So definitely, I would say the interviews that I had way prior to my current company's interview is the reason that I didn't bomb this one.
So much of it is just keeping your head in a good place. And it's interesting you say that. I literally wrote down today, I wrote down control my emotions, stay focused on what I can control, and self-belief, because there's all these things that happen to you. You get told no in an interview, they say you're not a good fit flat out, and you apply, you get rejected, but it's just keep continuing to move forward despite all of that. You've now been an SDR for over a year, according to your LinkedIn profile. Talk about what it's actually like on the other side, having broken into tech sales and now just hitting your quota today, it sounds like.
Yeah. Really good question, by the way. Well, I would like to say that I started out a year ago as SDR and I recently was promoted as senior SDR at my role. So I had those, like those back end leadership skills coming in. Um, I would say it takes a lot of stability within yourself to not only be new to a new role, but to also put your best foot forward. Show up as best as you can. It will definitely take a lot of adjusting to, especially if you're in a new field, you've never been in technology, you've never learned basically what other people have learned over the years that they've been in their role. So it'll get a lot of you'll adjust a lot at first. Um, but I know that I'm really happy where I am. Like my team is great. The communication is great. And I'm just really happy where I am. But prepare to never stop learning. Prepare to never stop reaching to the next big thing. Like stay where you are, but continue to have a goal every day. I would say that's what I do to maintain myself. And do not get comfortable. Do not be that person to say, you know what, I don't need help. I got it. Because once you get there, you're screwed. Always be open to learning from whomever, you never know, and always start those conversations because they will help you in the end.
What are your goals right now?
I mean, my goal is to be an account executive. I I'm a part of an amazing team to where I've seen people start out with no experience or they started out as an SDR and they've moved up that ladder to account executive or maybe customer success manager. But those are my goals. My goals are to keep crushing quota for the quarter, um, and to keep verbalizing the benefits of Course Careers. I am reaching out to people who ask me, hey, like, what is it about being an SDR? And I'll tell them like, hey, this is where I started. Um, I definitely recommend to like just put your best foot forward because when I started as a tech sales rep, I didn't know what I was learning, but I knew I was ready, and I'm happy that I made this decision. And yeah,
What are the benefits of course careers?
one big thing, honestly, one big thing. Well, actually, two. The benefits is to be able to go into an interview and not say I don't know anything because that's not good. It's rarely, very, very rare you find someone get a job who says I don't know anything. Course Careers is where I was able to leverage those interviews. Um, I would say something along the lines of, yeah, I don't have tons of experience, but what I've learned in Course Careers is X, Y, and Z. Um, and that's all that matters. As long as you come in with a positive attitude of what you learned from Course Careers, it can take you a long way. So do not underestimate it. And number two, feeling like I can now help is my big thing. Um, I feel like now I'm in a position where if I didn't have Course Careers, I would have all of this information to myself. I'd have all this information I can't share with anyone. There wouldn't be a community that I can go to and say, hey, see, you're looking for a new job or you're open to work on LinkedIn. What is it that you need help with? So I think Course Careers is definitely the reason that I'm able to feel like I can help other people, and I'm happy that I'm leveraging the community to be able to give back.
You mentioned that your dad recommended course careers to you way back when, but you sat on it for a few months. What was that reason? What did you see, or what changed in your mindset to decide today is the day I'm going to buy course careers and get after it?
I was in a role that took up a lot of my energy and a lot of my time, And I would always just think about it. I'm like, you know what? Like, I even tried to do something else. And I was like, oh, but CourseCareers, like, you guys kept coming up and back in my brain. So I'm like, there, a lot of things don't stick if it doesn't matter to me. So if it's sticking, it's something. And then when I quit, I had massive, like, I think back to those days and I'm like, wow, it's like I had massive faith in myself. It might sound a little cheeky, but I had so much like positivity for my future. And I'm like, no matter what, I can do this. I've been watching your interviews with other people and I'm like, wow, I can do that. I can do that. So I just approached the uncomfortability with faith, as well as educating myself and zero distractions. So that's what I would say happened during that time.
Zero distractions is not easy in today's world, but I
Not at
commend
all.
you for finding your way, investing in yourself, spending the month it took to learn what you got to do, utilize the coaching, and then that's an insane amount of applications and interviews, but you found your way into the role one way or another.
Had to.
Cool. Well, Samira, thanks so much for being here today. For those of you listening right now that resonate with Samira's story, reach out to her on LinkedIn, connect with her. But of course, just as she's saying, you can join CourseCareers. You can do it too. And we've linked the free intro course in the description below. Samira, any parting words? End us off.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to tell everybody out there who's thinking about signing up for CourseCareers, this is your moment. This is the time that you've come across the right video, because I'm a huge testimony. I was 21 years old, no experience, fresh out of college. Um, Sign up for CourseCareers, and here I am today, senior SDR, and moving up the AE ladder. Follow me on LinkedIn if you ever need any help, if you ever are in limbo, you don't know what to do, or you're kind of losing hope, because the days will not be easy. There's going to be some days where you're super excited and pumped, and there's going to be other days where you're like, I'm not going to do it. So definitely, I'm an open book. So always reach out to me if you ever need help. I'm here.
Great message. Samira, thanks so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you, Trent.